What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Raider Nation? It is your boy Ash Raider here, coming at you guys another live stream. As we are now 3 days away until the 2021 NFL Draft. I've already made my mocks. I've already expressed like who the Raiders want, but now I kind of wanted to just talk about some of the things that I've been hearing that we're going to be hearing for at least the next 42 to 48 to 72 hours. And again, I've been saying it since day one, since right as soon as the season ended, that we don't know, unless you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, we don't know who is going to take who, which team is going to take who with their draft pick. We know that Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville with the first overall pick. That is a lock. Unless someone sells like the whole farm, I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 first round picks. There is no way that a team that Jacksonville is going to give up that number one pick. So they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. I want to say the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson at 2, but then again, who knows? Maybe the Jets might take someone else with the second overall pick. Maybe they might shock some people and reach for Lawrence or not reach for Lawrence. I'm sorry. Reach for Lance or quote unquote reach for Fields, even though I wouldn't consider it as a reach. I think, in my opinion, again, I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna pound the table on Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is the real deal. I think he's going to be good. If it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence, he would be my QB number 1, and I would take him with the first overall pick in this draft. There's something about this kid that he's different, because obviously the perception is that, oh, he's an Ohio State quarterback and oh, this and that. Bullshit. Okay. I've seen this kid play. I see a little bit of Kyler Murray mixed in with Deshaun Watson, and both those guys are respectable at their position, at the quarterback position. And I just think too, like, he's a guy that you would want to go to war with, and who you want in the locker room. The dude's got toughness. I think he commands more in the huddle. Yeah, there's some flaws with him. Maybe he needs to do a better job of stepping up into the pocket or going through his progressions better. But the narrative of him is that, oh, he's a, whatchamacallit, Ohio State quarterback. Let me tell you about this. This is the most hyped up Ohio State quarterback we've seen in a long time. Because Dwayne Haskins, I mean, he got a little bit of hype, but let's be real. He was a kind of a one-year wonder at Ohio State, and he had like Terry McLaurin. I believe Urban Meyer was still coaching at the time, and he had like a great defense as well, and he had like a great running game with J.K. Dobbins and whatnot. So he had a great team around him, and even then you can kind of watch the film and you're just like, is he really an NFL pro quarterback, based on not even just his play, but just his maturity. Now let's move on to the other notable Ohio State quarterback, Terrell Pryor. And I would just be honest, we had Terrell Pryor for a minute. The Raiders had Terrell Pryor for a minute. Wasn't a fan on Terrell Pryor, I think, he's really athletic. I think he can run the ball. And I think he was a better receiver. Because remember, he had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons with the Browns. When he switched to receiver, I think in his 3rd or 4th year of his NFL career. I believe he's retired now. I don't think he's with the team anymore. I don't think he's with the team currently. Then you look at Troy Smith. But Troy Smith was too small to play a position. Yes, he won a Heisman, but so did what's his name? That Florida State quarterback. Not Jameis Winston, but the one that played for the Knicks. Because it was the same thing about him. He was too small, and he barely weighed under 200 pounds. Yes, I understand, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, now even Kyler Murray. All these small quarterbacks are having some success in the NFL. I get that. But at the time, the NFL didn't really establish that type of, like, NFL scouts didn't really establish that type of, like, liking when it comes to liking smaller quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's hard, when you're, like, 6 feet and under to, like, look at the center field, look through a whole field, progress through a whole field, while the offensive line is blocking for you. You know what I mean? That was always the kind of the knockoff. But then obviously the NFL changed, their ways of how to take care of a quarterback and whatnot, in terms of high one. I think that's why Zach Wilson's getting a lot of hype, even though Zach Wilson's like only like 6 feet, 6'1", and Justin Fields is like 6'3", you know? So I don't know. It is what it is, whatever. But I'm just saying, back to Justin Fields for a second here, guys. I think the 49ers are making a big mistake. And no, it's not just me because I hate the 49ers and I like the shit on the 49ers, but I think the 49ers are making a mistake. Just because Justin Fields is an Ohio State quarterback, just because he has epilepsy, but at the end of the day, it truly only affects 3% of people who do suffer from it. I just think they're making a mistake here. I'm sorry. I think you put Justin Fields into that system, I think the Niners could win the division next year. I think, in my opinion, Justin Fields is being known as an afterthought. Kind of like, the Justin Herberts of the world, the Lamar Jacksons of the world, and to some degree, the Patrick Mahomes of the world. Because everybody was talking about Deshaun Watson, Mitchell Trubisky. When the Chiefs took Patrick Mahomes, they were like, oh, they should have went Deshaun Watson. Why did they have to choose Mahomes for? But I saw that pick and I'm all like, this kid might be good. This kid might be good. Mac Jones, really? Mac fucking Jones. You're going to pick Mac Jones. Are you serious? You're thinking as if that Mac Jones is the next Joe Burrow because he had a great 1-year stint in college, won the national championship, was a Heisman candidate, but he had Devontae Smith winning the Heisman. He had fucking Jalen Waddle. He had Najee Harris. He had an unbelievable defense, probably one of the best, if not the best, in the nation. He had the greatest college football head coach in college football history. Like, what are we talking about here? This guy reminds me nothing more of an AJ McCarron. I think I would personally take Tua at the moment than Mac Jones because at least with Tua, at least you could see something with Tua's game. But even then, it's like he's kind of gotten exposed a little bit, considering the fact of how much help he had. And I mean, this man had Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, you know, um, Jalen Waddle, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, oh man. Case in point, when it comes to Alabama quarterbacks, you don't want to take an Ohio State quarterback, right? Maybe because, oh, Ohio State quarterbacks usually don't pan out. But then you're going to take a guy who went to Alabama, and they don't pan out as well. Name the last Alabama quarterback that was good in the NFL. Oh, wait. It's been a minute. The only one I can think of at the moment is Ken Stabler. And may he rest his soul at the end of the day, but this is a mistake. And the reason why, honestly, I'd be laughing if I were the 49ers, but I'm kind of pissed off because guess what? If Fields keeps falling and falling and falling, and he's there at 9 and the Denver Broncos take him, that's blood on your hands, Niner fans. Because if he balls out in Denver, that's blood on your hands. Because at the end of the day, the quarterback you're going to take, Mac Jones will likely be a bust. And it's no disrespect to the kid. I mean, he might be good, but my perception on him is that he'll be a bust or he's just not going to be that good. And with Trey Lance, like you're paying a kid who has upside, okay? But at the same time, too, is he an NFL's day one NFL starter? Do you really think he's the guy? Because here's the thing. Before this draft, before these guys were hyped up in this draft class. Like, I think it's just disrespectful how they're saying that Fields is a quarterback for, and that some people will even go as far as saying Mac Jones is better than Justin Fields. Like, oh my goodness, man. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, to me, it makes sense. why the Jets would take Zach Wilson over Justin Fields at one, because or at two rather, because hey, he's very talented. He may have a little bit more upside than Fields when I watch the film. But if I want to build a team and the Jets need a rebuild, I'm taking Fields because I believe you would rather want a guy like Fields than Wilson to be in the locker room. I mean, this guy was injured and he balled out in a college football semifinal by throwing 6 touchdown passes. 6 or 7 touchdown passes, I forget. And before Wilson hit the spotlight, everybody was hyping up Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields. They were saying, "Oh, if it wasn't for Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields would be my QB number one." Like, I mean, I think Wilson might be good. I think Wilson can be good. You know, I just don't understand what the Niners, what they see out of Trey Lance and especially Mac fucking Jones, but they don't see out of Justin Fields. Like, I feel like wherever he goes, he's going to ball out. And that's what scares me because I really hope he doesn't go to Denver. I really hope he doesn't go to Denver. I don't want him to go there. I don't want him to go there. And that's another thing, too, I want to talk about, just a little bit before I sign off here. Um, Not only are just these rumors and whatnot, but apparently the Raiders, even though they were pounded the table on Derek Carr, they might take a quarterback. And I remember I tweeted back at this NFL rumors guy on Twitter, like and again, he's very accurate with some of his sources. He is, you know, um, I get some of my sources from him, and I, I believe it's a smokescreen. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't think that the Raiders are going to trade up to get a quarterback unless the quarterback falls in their lap at 17. Like, if oh my God, if Justin Fields is there at 17, my God, y'all are gonna pay. You don't want Justin Fields to be a Raider. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. But I think more than anything, and I've been hearing that this could happen on draft day. There's a possibility, Raider fans, that Julio Jones might want to get traded, that he could get traded. Oh my goodness, Raider fans. Yes, yes, yes. A million times yes would I take Julio Jones. Not for a first round though. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go that far. But for a second round pick, yes. Julio Jones is exactly what we're looking for in this offense. A big physical receiver in the red zone, even though Julio is really not that big of a threat in the red zone as he used to be. But hey, when Carr throws up those lobs in the red zone, man, Julio's going to come down with it 99 times out of 100. Like, it's just Julio Jones is still a top 5 wide receiver in this league. I don't care if he's in his 30s. He's still a beast. He's still Julio Jones. He is the man. And unlike Antonio Bitch, he won't cause any problems in the locker room. And not to mention, too, with him, Henry Ruggs, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, we would have a roll tide offense, man, with the Raiders. We might be calling ourselves the Alabama Raiders, because we would have so many players from Alabama to be a part of this offense, man. But man, to have him, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, Bryan Edwards, if he could still develop, John Brown, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, this offense would be top 5 next year. And yes, Derek Carr, but Derek Carr is a solid quarterback. Derek Carr is pretty much kind of like the Matt Ryan in a way of quarterbacks. He's a solid quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback, but at the same time, too, I feel like he gets a lot of shit because of the fact that he hasn't really done anything. I mean, Matt Ryan's had more success than Derek Carr, but at the same time, too, Matt Ryan has had some way more serviceable defenses than Carr. Like, you put Carr in the Falcons for at least the years that they had a good defense, they would be in the playoffs. They might win a playoff game or two in the playoffs. So, but yes, I would love to have Julio Jones. I'd trade a second. If not, I'd trade my 2/3 and I would trade a second for next year if Atlanta's that desperate. If they want to build on draft capital just so we can get Julio Jones, man. Like, oh, like, man, I'm not sure if this is true or not. I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but I would love to have Julio Jones on my team. I would love to have Julio Jones on my team. We need to draft a big and physical receiver. We either need to draft a big and physical receiver because the only one we have that I could think of is Bryan Edwards, or you trade for one of the best 5 receivers in the planet right now. But with that being said, Raider fans, I just wanted to go here and talk a little bit live. Um, yeah, man, can't wait. Draft in a few days, man. Looking forward to it, man. And I mean, y'all thought I was crazy to think that the Niners could possibly take Mac Jones at 3. It's starting to look a little bit possible now, but again, anything could happen. Maybe the Niners are just trying to, hype. Maybe this is what I'm thinking the Niners could be doing. Maybe the Niners are trying to, manipulate the Jets into taking Justin Fields in a way. You know what I mean? Because it's like, here's why I think that. Because it's like, I know the 49ers only traded up just so they can take Zach Wilson. I mean, if you've been paying attention to the 49ers fan base, they want Zach Wilson more than anything. But they would have been okay with Fields. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, I'll just tell you this, man. Like, when it comes to the Niners and drafting, they haven't done so hot as of late. And I think in my opinion, they're trying to, psychologically make the Jets take Justin Fields. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I know they're thinking Zach Wilson, but if the Niners are saying like, oh, we're not going to take Justin Fields, we'd rather take these guys, and the Jets are thinking, why is Justin Fields falling? Maybe we should take him instead of Wilson because maybe he's just being known as an afterthought. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain it. It's the psychology of it, but it's weird. But no, I think the Niners at the end of the day, what I actually truly believe is the fact that he has epilepsy and that he's an Ohio State quarterback more than anything, and that maybe he's just not a fit into the system. And then maybe Mac Jones is a better scheme fit for their offense, and that Trey Lance maybe someday can be a really, really, really good quarterback because the kid's got some upside, but I just don't see the too much of the. I mean, he played 1 year in college, and like, yeah, I mean, he had a really good year, but at the same time, too, like he played at North Dakota State. I get it. Carson Wentz went there too, and Carson Wentz is still in the league, and he had some good moments in the NFL. But I mean, I'm not too high on Trey Lance. I'm not like my quarterbacks right now. Okay, my quarterbacks right now, if I had to rank them, Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields 2, uh, Zach Wilson 3, Trey Lance 4, and Mac Jones 5. Like, you know, honestly, I almost want to put Kellen Mond at 5 more than Mac Jones because I think Kellen Mond could be another sleeper. I like the kid a lot. I mean, he needs like a couple years to develop, but a couple years or so to develop, but I think he could be really good. So, anyways, guys, man, this has been your boy Ash Raider, and I am out. Peace, and as always, go Raiders. Go Raiders.